So in this video, I'm going to share 5 quick tips on how you might be able to draw and paint faster. And so whether you're someone who wants to make money with their art or someone who just does it as a hobby, well, maybe you could reach your goals faster if you could increase your speed and power, your drawing speed and drawing power. Now, when I say drawing speed, I'm referring to how fast you can finish one drawing. And power is referring to how many drawings you can complete in a period of time. So in this video, I'm going to give you those 5 tips if you stay to the end. Tip number 1, the first thing that you may want to consider doing is learning the structure of your drawings. So when it comes to reference, when you're using reference, it's especially important to do so, of course, when you're starting out. But when you're using reference, you don't want to simply draw what you see. And so instead of doing that, what you want to do is to work on breaking down the reference into digestible shapes and then recreate the image that you want to draw. And so as you continue to do that and you get a better understanding of the shapes, you'll be able to read your references faster. And then once you begin to get an understanding of these shapes and you're reading your references faster, then you won't have to actually rely so much on the reference itself. As you continue to progress, you may not even have to use a reference, or you may choose to just use it lightly. So if you can do this, this can help you to draw faster. Again, by learning the structure of your drawings and breaking them down into digestible shapes. Something else that can help you to draw and paint faster, tip number 2, is to make your line work only once. So instead of making rough line work and then going over it with cleaner line work, try just making better strokes the first time and then just cleaning those strokes up a bit. And when you clean them up, you don't have to clean them up perfectly. You can actually leave them looking a bit sketchy. And so oftentimes the first lines that you make are the ones that are more lively and natural. And many people may agree with that. Now, if your shapes and composition are good in the first place, a few natural sketchy spots in your art, it usually won't hurt. Actually, if you think about social media, you can find several artists on places like Instagram that use this approach, and they do very well. Now, if you think about it, it can be very hard to compete with these artists if they're cranking out drawings using this approach quickly, and then you're spending much longer trying to perfect a piece, and that won't look as lively or as natural and probably won't get seen as much either. So the point is, if you want to compete with these artists, to stick with them, hang with them, or even pass them, you're going to have to do more drawings. And so making that line work once and not trying to get it too perfect, that can help you to do so. So the third tip of how to draw and paint faster is to use pressure with your paintbrush. And so when you're using pressure with your paintbrush, it allows you to press down on the first layers. And as you do that, you can make some of the areas darker as you go along. So it also allows you to use the least amount of layers as possible. And also, when you have this pressure enabled and you're using it, it allows you to have a stroke that looks more natural. Next, the fourth tip is to use different layers for highlights and shadows. And so this is important so that you can quickly correct your mistakes without having to paint over them. And it also allows you to experiment with different colors and looks as you go along. And when you have those layers, if something doesn't work out, you can just clear the layer or delete it altogether. And also, using different layers with different opacities, it's faster than changing the brush opacity over and over again. So again, using layers with opacities, adjusting those, it's faster than changing the opacity on the brush over and over again as you do different areas of your painting. And lastly, the fifth tip is to avoid perfecting your drawing. And so creating a pixel perfect drawing, it can take a very long time if you're just starting out. Even if you're really experienced, it can take a considerable amount of time. And so if you're new, well, time is not on your side because you're trying to compete with artists that have been doing this for a long time. So instead of focusing on perfection, first just focus on finishing your drawings. Just try to finish them. Next, once you're good with finishing your drawings and you're not obsessing over them and taking too long, next you can focus on decreasing the time that it takes to finish a drawing, right? Drawing faster. As you continue to work on that and improve, then you can take note of the parts of your drawings that need to improve. And as you do that, work to improve those areas and be honest with yourself. Don't look at your drawings as being as being perfect or as being good enough. Always be humble, look at your work and look for ways that you can improve. So if you focus on your speed and quality together, this can help you to get faster and better at the same time. And so that's it. Those are my 5 tips. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you can reach your art goals faster with more speed and more draw power.